You just met someone. They told you their name. You smiled, you nodded, and then, 10 seconds later, it is completely gone. You try to recall it. Nothing. You spend the rest of the conversation avoiding saying their name entirely, hoping nobody notices. Sound familiar? This happens to almost everyone. And most people assume it means they were not paying attention, or that they simply have a bad memory. But that is not what is happening. The reason you forget names has nothing to do with how good your memory is. It has to do with how your brain decides what is worth remembering. And names, it turns out, barely make the cut. Here's the first thing to understand. Your brain does not record information like a voice memo. It does not store exact sounds or words. It stores meaning, connections, associations, context. When you meet someone and they tell you they are a doctor who just got back from hiking in Nepal and they laugh really loudly, your brain has a lot to work with. Occupation, experience, a vivid sensory detail. It can connect all of that to things it already knows. But when they say, "Hi, I'm Karen," your brain gets a sound, just a sound, with no inherent meaning attached to it whatsoever. The name Karen does not tell your brain anything about the person. It is an arbitrary label. And arbitrary information with no meaning attached to it is extremely difficult for the brain to hold on to. This is called the Baker-Baker paradox, and it is one of the most well-known findings in memory research. Here is how the experiment works. Two groups of people are shown the same photograph of the same man. Group 1 is told, "This man's job is a baker." Group 2 is told, "This man's last name is Baker." Later, both groups are asked what they remember. The first group, the ones told he was a baker, remember it far more easily. Why? Because baker as a job activates a rich network of associations in the brain. Flour, bread, an apron, early mornings, the smell of something warm. Your brain has hooks to hang the information on. Baker as a last name activates nothing. It is just a sound attached to a face you just met. No hooks, nowhere to hang it. And so it falls. This is exactly what happens every time someone tells you their name. The word enters your brain. And unless you do something deliberate with it, it slides straight out. There is also a second reason this happens, and it is one most people never consider. You are not really listening when they said it, not because you are rude or distracted, but because the moment someone introduces themselves, your brain is doing a lot of other things simultaneously. It is processing their face, reading their body language, deciding whether they are safe, figuring out what to say next, managing your own anxiety about making a good impression. By the time the name arrives, your brain's attention is already spread thin. The psychologists call this a failure of encoding. The name never got properly written into memory in the first place. You cannot retrieve something that was never stored. This is why people say, "I am terrible with names." But what they actually mean is, I was never fully present in the moment the name was given. So what do you do about it? The good news is, this is fixable. Not with a better memory, but with a small shift in what you do in the moment. First, use the name immediately. The second someone tells you their name, say it back. "It's great to meet you, Sarah." This forces your brain to actively process the sound rather than passively receive it. One repetition immediately after hearing it makes a significant difference to retention. Second, make a connection. The moment you hear a name, try to attach it to something. Does it remind you of someone you already know? Does it match something about their appearance or personality? Does it sound like another word? The stranger, the connection, the better. Unusual associations are more memorable than obvious ones. Third, use it again before you leave. Say their name once more when the conversation ends. "It was great talking to you, Sarah." 2 deliberate uses of a name in one interaction is usually enough to move it from short-term memory into something more durable. None of these require a better memory. They require a slightly more intentional moment. So the next time you forget someone's name, it does not mean you are forgetful. It does not mean you are not paying attention. It means your brain did exactly what brains do. It discarded an arbitrary sound because nothing told it to keep it. Now you know what to do differently. If Psychology Says helped, you understand something about yourself today. Subscribe. We explain the science behind the things your brain does every single day. New video every week.